Bum, bum, da 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 da, bum, bum, da.
See, I'm copying you now. Remember when you used to be about the scrunchy life?
I'm still about the scrunchy life.
I know. And look, I'm wearing black.
I'm sorry. What's happening?
This year, I'm being more like Christine. Yes, I will say I did not put on any makeup or anything, but that's, it's hard to break old habits.
That's not true. You have lip gloss on.
Okay, point is, next time you see me, I'm going to be even more like Christine.
I just want to pat myself on the back really quick because I have infiltrated Monique's psyche because she's actually doing something that I wanted her to do in 2025. That is wow. You almost clap for yourself and for me.
No, I didn't. Actually,
This is amazing.
I did not almost do that. The point is, we're gonna, be like our counterpart. We're gonna try new things in 2025.
Right.
We want to stick in the same habits.
Correct.
Because then the same things will happen, I'll be unorganized, not making any content, and Christine would, she'll just be stressed out. I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know why you want to be more like me, Christine, honestly. But thanks. Honored.
I think...
Yeah, say something nice. Let's see what you got here. I'm intrigued.
I think there are a lot of qualities that a lot of people like about you, and I can really learn from that.
What in one quality?
Hilarity.
Okay, I'll take it.
I think you do a really good job of taking things in stride and, getting past it.
You know what I'm going to do next year?
Therapy.
I'm going to try it. Yeah, I mean, Christine.
Yeah.
And,
it's really helped me.
We'll see what happens. Point is, that's...
Now, in outfits... Oh, see, that was me being you. In outfits, what I did for this video is I
wear a cardigan. I saw you wear a cardigan. And I said, Christine should be like me. So I put on a scrunchie.
We're embracing that we can like things about each other and take those and put them into our own personalities and make ourselves the best selves we can be. Mm-hmm. This is actually not a 2025 goals video though, so let's pivot.
Yeah, I was like, you guys clicked on a completely different title. You clicked on our most anticipated reads
of 2025.
So hello y'all, howdy, welcome back. We are the Ruby's Digest.
We're back! Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't have to caffeinate yourself to be like me.
All right, so we're doing 25 of our most anticipated releases of 2025. So original. We have some exciting titles that we're excited to get to.
Yeah, to preface things, a lot of the titles in this one are not going to be fantasy titles from me because I'm doing a separate fantasy video for 2025. There are too many. Not too many. Hold up. Let me just...
Christine reads a lot of them.
Yeah,
and
so
the sequels are all coming.
And it just doesn't make sense for me to put it in this video because, why would I bog y'all down with that when I do read other genres? Some of them are a little fantastical, but, they're not, the fantasy ones. I just want to preface it.
I have a fantasy book in there.
You sure do. I saw your list.
Yeah, our list is shared actually, so I didn't actually see yours because it doesn't matter. Everyone, our first book, or my first book, I'm very excited for. If you were on Patreon, you heard me squeal, jump up and down. You probably saw me, screaming when I opened the package. So, Just Our Luck by Denise Williams. It follows our main character, Sybil, and I think his name is Kieran. Yep, Kieran. That's weird. I feel like the other N's needed. It follows Sybil and Kieran. Sybil, going life a little aimlessly. Doesn't really know what job she wants to do. She doesn't have the money that she thought she was going to have. Doesn't have the man, the life. She's just kind of going through life, going through the motions. So she picks up a lottery ticket. The only thing she knows she wants is a lottery ticket and some donuts. So she goes to a late night donut shop where there's Kieran, who also kind of put his life on hold. Not on hold, but put dreams that he thought he was going to go, to med school, be a doctor, to take care of his family's bakery, where in Hold they have a meet cute. Things get cute, and she leaves her winning lottery ticket behind at the donut shop. He goes to give her back the lottery ticket. It is a viral sensation. Okay. Everyone thinks it's a romantic gesture.
Yeah.
So they have to somehow fake date about it. I don't know all the tea. I don't know all the technicalities, but I know it's going to be cute. Look at this. Look at the thickness.
That is a thick romance book. What did they got going on?
You guys know romance is going to be on this list, so don't be shocked. But yeah, this is one of the first ones. It's coming out in March of 2025.
I love that.
So get ready.
Well, speaking of romance, the first romance that I want to talk about is, of course, for Miss Chloe Leese. It is going to be the third book in the Wilmot Sisters series called Once Smitten, Twice Shy. This is a star-crossed lovers trope, apparently about these two people who keep running into each other. Juliet Wilmot is the third sister in this completed trilogy. It'll be the third book that completes it, but she essentially keeps running into this guy named Will. She's had some heartbreak happen, so she doesn't believe in love. And so she is a little jaded. Will, on the other hand, has to find a wife. I believe it's for like an inheritance situation, which is a fun time and trope for moi. And he is, I believe, neurodivergent. So he just thinks that he's never gonna find love, which we all know that's not true. That's so not true. Anyway, they do a practice romance, if you will. So could be fake dating, could be marriage of convenience. I don't know what the trope is, but it's gonna be a cute time. I love Chloe Leese, and I feel like her romances are always very soft and sweet. So this is gonna be a great start to the year. It comes out on January 14th.
Wow, love that time of year.
Yeah.
All right, next up. It's a follow-up to a wonderful series that we both read at the end of the year.
Okay.
Dark romance to get the year going.
Man.
This is Lights Out. It is the first book in the Into Darkness series. I don't know how long the series is.
I think it's a trilogy.
Trilogy.
Yeah, I think it's a trilogy.
By Vanessa Allen. It's a, viral sensation. Apparently the author wrote it because she put an idea, or they put an idea out on TikTok, and everyone was like, you need to write this book.
And it was a great book.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I liked it. I feel like it's a good starter too for a dark romance.
Yeah, like it's not even, low-key is not even that dark, but I guess there are some parts that I'm desensitized to.
Yeah, like it's definitely darker than your contemporary, but I feel like the main guy is a little cinnamon bun.
He is cinnamon bun AF. Definitely like touch her and you die though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's like a starter. I think a good starter. But so the follow-up to that book is comes out June 10th. It's number 2.
Oh my God, right near my birthday.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Serendipitous.
It's kind of the same premise what I was looking at. It's called Caught Up by Vanessa Allen.
The cover looks like it's a gamer in this one.
Well, it looks
like a Halo guy.
I mean, it looks kind of the same, which is okay.
That's a skull. Okay,
so the point is, this book is the guy is still obsessed with the female lead, but the female lead works in it's like a play club. So they go to a club where they do things.
Yeah.
And instead of just watching, he's gonna like talk to her. Yeah. She likes him too, but she's like, this guy keeps coming to see me. He doesn't make any moves or something like that.
He's a refined gentleman.
Sure. Anyway, that's the vibe I'm getting. I'm not sure. It was just a quick, but that's number 2.
I can't wait for that one, honestly. The first one was so good, y'all. That was a recommendation that all 3 platforms really did well last year. It was everywhere, I'm telling you. And I was like, fine, I'll read it. The next book on my list, this one is also coming out on January 14th. It's called Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. It's by Grady Hendrix. So girls who grew up too fast, loose girls, are all sent to this Wellwood house in St. Augustine, Florida.
Like a boarding house.
It's like a boarding house for unwed mothers. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember. I've heard about that in history.
Okay, yep. So there you go, 1970s. It basically is about these women who go to this wayward house, what they kind of go through, right? So everything that they do is watched, everything they eat is like, prescribed to them, like that kind of a thing. In this book, these girls meet a librarian who knows about the occult and witchcraft and things like that. And it's about them kind of discovering this, if you will, as a sort of escapism. Grady Hendrix in the past, okay, I can't give him a bad name because I've only read My Best Friend's Exorcism.
Really?
Yeah, I've only read that one.
I thought you read the Southern Slaying Vampires.
No. Somebody was talking about rats and I was like, shan't be me, shan't be I. But I feel like I don't want to write him off yet, so I'm going to try this one because I like witchcraft, I like witches, and I want to see kind of like where he goes with this one. But I do think it's interesting that he always writes about girls and they're always in these like weird situations, like the exorcism book. I feel like there are themes and things that I liked in that book. I just kind of hated the characters. So I'm hoping in this one I do like these characters more. And I think it's interesting kind of like having, you know, these wayward girls in a house, you know, based off of something that actually happened in history, and like giving them a way of escapism through witchcraft. I think it's gonna be great.
I have horror story back there.
Yeah, I know. I don't really want to read that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. This will be the one. Anyway, January 14th.
Next on my list, I'm not going in chronological order, team. Apologies. I guess I could see if there's something that comes out in January. Okay, January. January 28th, we have Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson.
Okay.
Now, I loved Black Cake. Mm-hmm. And Good Dirt, I'm not saying it's a follow-up, but I think it's more about, it's kind of a similar family drama vibe. It's about an affluent family who has a tragedy that happens to them. And I think they witness a shooting of one of their family members. I believe it might have been covered up. So the family moves to another part of town and an heirloom gets passed down. They're kind of like uncovering what happened to their family history. I'm very excited for that one. Black Cake was a phenomenal read. We read it for Baking Book Club. I might make Good Dirt. I might make it a Baking Book Club book. Make a little dirt cake.
Dirt cake, yeah. Put a little worm in there.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do that, but I'm like,
here I am discovering things.
Yeah, February, look out.
Let's do it. Speaking of February, I'll talk about the next book that I'm going to talk about. Yeah. It is The Lamb by Lucy Rose. This is also a Gothic kind of coming of age queer folktale. All right, let's give it.
Nice.
Let's give it what it is. So it's essentially about a mother and daughter who live in the woods, and when the daughter is not at school, she's with her mom, and they apparently come across these people that she calls the strangers. It's just people who kind of go off the wayward trail and end up at their house. The mom has some interesting tendencies. I'm not sure if she's a cannibal, okay? It's giving cannibalism, but I don't know if that's what it is. We'll have to find out together.
Okay.
But her mom is giving some weird tendencies. Essentially, the tide starts to turn, and the reason why it's coming of age is because this one woman comes to the door.
Ding dong.
And as I said, it's a queer folktale. So our young, daughter is finding, that they have some feelings for this person, and they might not want their mom to eat them. I'm making this up, y'all. I don't know if that's actually, I'm assuming from what I've read about it, that's what's gonna happen.
Got it.
But it's essentially about her kind of standing up for her own self and like her own cravings, her own tendencies, and coming out from the shadow of her mother. I feel like this would be crazy. But if this plot twists and she ends up eating the girl, it's over for me. Anyway, this is a debut, so I feel like it's gonna be a good time. I don't know. I just reading about it. I feel like, why not put some cannibalism in there?
Nice. Yeah. That's, I read about that sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. February 4th. Look out.
My next book is another romance. Surprise! I love stories. It is the 4th book in this series. This is the first book. If y'all don't know, it's called Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. It's the Rebel Blue Ranch series. I'm looking for the 4th one, but I still need to read the 3rd one before I get to the 4th one. But the 4th one is about I think it's a second chance romance trope, because there is someone, she was going to get married to somebody. I don't know who that is. She was going to get married, and the wedding, he doesn't show up to the wedding. So she's like, okay, whatever, fine, I've got to take care of my family. Then her ex comes back to town. He's moved, this is a small town, y'all. Her ex comes back to town, and he's like, oh my god, my first love is here. And I think love blossoms. I hope. So
I'm sure it will, since it's a romance.
But I think that's
series.
The premise, yeah. Comes out April 15th. Very excited.
Speaking of romances, again, I am really excited. On February 11th, the 3rd book in the Ruinous Trilogy series is coming out. It's Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver. Y'all know I've really been getting into my serial killer romances recently. I'm loving it. So, Butcher and Blackbird, yeah, Leather and Lark, and then Scythe and Sparrow. This one I'm so excited for because it follows the 3rd brother. He is a doctor. He's a nerdy doctor. And he's sworn off love because he basically had a bad time. He had a fiance. Okay, backstory. He had a fiance. Things didn't work out. He ran away to Nebraska where his 2 serial killer brothers are. Okay? So he's kind of the one in the family who is not outwardly killing people like as a job or a hobby. He's a doctor. That's his job. That's his hobby. But he runs into, the love interest.
Is the serial killer.
Who is named Rose, and she casually kills people like,
oh,
she's part of a circus. I'm not saying all circus people are you know, killers, but that makes it easy for her to travel around, right, and not get caught because she is
a trend.
Well, essentially what happens is she gets hurt, and this is not a spoiler, y'all. This actually happened in like book 1. So if you read those books, you'll see Rose and Fionn in those books. You just don't know like why her leg is broken, essentially, in those books. So her leg has been broken this whole time. We finally get the backstory, and essentially a kill has gone wrong, and she ends up breaking her leg. Fionn is the doctor on call that fixes her up. They end up like living together in the second book of this series, and like no one knows why, so I'm hoping we get a lot of backstory for that. But they are friends. This is a friends to lovers book, okay?
Okay.
So they are friends. They pick at each other. They have a fun back and forth already, and I just cannot wait to see.
Is it really friends though? I don't like friends and lovers when they clearly like each other.
Well, I mean, they haven't touched each other in 2 books, so the tropes for this one are friends. Friends to lovers, friends with benefits. Here we go. Small town romance, fish out of water, forced proximity, hurt, care, and touch her and die. So I'm excited because Fionn seems to be the most like, I don't want to say normal, but like the other brothers are literally cuckoo bananas. Fionn is like the composed doctor type. So to kind of see him unravel in a touch her and you die trope, I feel like that's going to be really exciting. I feel like it's going to be fun. And there's also an overarching plot for these 3 books that I feel is going to be coming to a close because there's
only 3 brothers.
I mean, there's obviously only 3 brothers, but there's literally something that happened at the end of the second book that I was like, oh my God, the drama is coming. Okay, so I can't wait. I'm excited.
Exciting. Wow. Surprise. Another romance. Deep in my Allie is what's coming out. This, I think, is leaning more new adult because it centers around 2 college athlete. One's a college diver and I think one's like a swimmer, and they come together in a romantic way, but I think they're both aiming for the Olympic. They have, for some reason it says, it's very vague, the description, but it said a secret was revealed that has to make them make an arrangement, some type of arrangement. It's not detailed. It was very odd to me. I was like, what do you mean? But it was like, so they have to end up making some arrangement. I don't know if that's fake dating. I don't know what the arrangement is, but feelings then build, and yeah, I forgot what science field they're studying, but I know that they are both swimmers or in this aquatic sports field. And that's very cute because the book's called Deep End.
So the next book that I'm excited for, it comes out on March 11th. It's called A Gentleman's Gentleman by T.J. Alexander. This is the same author who wrote A Chef's Kiss, which wasn't, you know, my favorite. But the plot of it is giving A Lady for a Duke, which I loved. Obviously, it's by a different author, but it's a Regency era LGBTQIA, specifically centering around a trans main character. And I don't know, I really like this theme or this like plot of these books. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a good one. Essentially, our main character is a gentleman in high society, and he has to find a wife. Of course, that's how these things go back in the day, but it's unfortunate because he's not attracted to women. He actually lives like on the edge of town as sort of a recluse, but high society says if you want to keep all your money and keep all your belongings, you better start a family stat. So he kind of strikes this unprecedented friendship with his valet, and both of these characters apparently are hiding secrets. I'm sure obviously one of them is trans in some way. I'm not sure which one is, but it's kind of about them finding their identity and figuring out how they can have this love blossom in this strange and crazy time. So anyway, like I said, A Lady for a Duke was Chef's Kiss. So I'm hoping that this is going to be in the same vein as that. It's dry humor, quick-witted, and a slow burn romance, of course.
Slow burn. Oof. Speaking of... no, I won't do that. Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez.
Oh yeah, classic.
I think it's coming out April 1st. It's not an April Fool's joke. It's serious. I think this character goes on a date with someone who looks seemingly perfect until they open their mouth. And she's like, ooh, let's just call it now. Like, of course, he admits he made a mistake. But I'm like, what is the mistake? I'm sure we can't know that yet.
He probably said something about her mama.
So yeah, I don't know what the plot.
Yeah, I was like, this seems like very, who knows what's gonna happen in this one. But, you know, probably one of the only like fantasy books that I'm gonna talk about in this list is a debut that's coming out on March 11th. It's called Blood Beneath the Snow by Alexandra Kennington. The reason why I'm putting this one on the list is because it is reminding me a lot of Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake, which was a YA fantasy that pulled me back into YA last year, specifically like YA fantasy books. So this one is kind of the same premise-ish, but essentially it's about a girl who has to fight her siblings to get the crown, okay? But then she ends up having feelings for like the enemy of the state, if you will, and that causes a problem because she obviously cannot, you know, be with them while also ruling. writing. So there are like a bit of differences in this series and in the Kendare Blake series, but I am excited to try it and see if it's going to be a good time, because I loved those books. Oh my god, why did you laugh like that?
Y'all, all right, I'm giving this author another chance because I love this audiobook. I love the audiobook that we got, and I really liked it. I liked it. But, you know, other things I've tried, I wasn't obsessed with. But this premise here, I can't not open the page and see what it's about. I have to.
Okay.
The book is called Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Comes out June 3rd. It's literally about space travel and a love story. Like, I have to read it. It's about like the 80s. It's set in the 1980s, and it's about building the space program. It follows a physicist, and there's love and drama. I've given it one more chance. I'm like, this really sounds fun. I was like, you know, you guys know me. I really like a good space book. Give me a love story. I'm not putting a lot. I'm excited. And if you guys like the stuff that I like, you might be excited about this. That's all I want to say. You know, one last chance, one last shot.
The next book that I am going to be talking about is called Go Luck Yourself by Sarah Rosh. It's coming out on March 11th as well. And this one is going to be the, I guess, companion to The Nightmare Before Christmas. This one is between the brother of the Prince of Christmas, I guess. So he's like called the Spare Christmas Prince. And the Prince of St. Patrick's Day. It's an enemies to lovers, and essentially the plot of this one is someone's been stealing joy, the magic of joy, from Christmas. And Chris, this character, he's very like, all right, let's get down to the bottom of things. Like, he's about his business, which is fun because he is not like a jokester at all. His brother is. So it'll be fun to kind of see him have a relationship with what I'm assuming is, I mean, you're the Prince of St. Patrick's Day. I feel like you are the little leprechaun doing jokes on people, you know what I mean? Like, pinch people if they don't wear green kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see him kind of like investigate this and pin it onto the Prince of, you know.
What's the title one more time?
Go Luck Yourself.
Got it. Okay.
Did I say go yourself?
No.
Oh, I was like, wow.
I just wasn't understanding what the other holiday was, so I need you to...
Yeah, Go Luck Yourself. So let's go, y'all. I'm ready. I really loved the first one last December when I read it, and I feel like this is going to be a great continuation of this series, this holiday series. I'm like, what other holidays are you going to do? We're doing non-American? Yeah, like...
You could do Valentine's. Next up, it's a book that I feel like we'll both be excited for.
Okay.
It's called King of Ashes by our fave.
S.A. Cosby, baby.
Yeah, Mr. S.A. Cosby. This one's already been picked up by Steven Spielberg.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's gonna be an action film, baby. Y'all, I've been diving in. I don't know if you call it, recently I watched a documentary about The Sopranos, so I know everything about, you know, the mob world, specifically crime families. And, you know, while I'm not the biggest Godfather person, this book is kind of like inspired by The Godfather, but it's a Southern family, a Southern crime drama, family drama. An accident happens to these three siblings, father, and the eldest has to come back home and kind of, you know, get the family back, grab the reins of the family, help his little brother come out of some trouble he's having with some gang members. No one's really expecting him the eldest brother, no one's expecting him to kind of be, you know, the hotshot that he is, because he's kind of nerdy, he's good with numbers, but he's not a stick in the mud, y'all. He is not a pushover. He is his father's son. You guys have to realize that. Meanwhile, there's the daughter of the family is trying to figure out what happened to their mother, because their mother went missing when they were teenagers. So this is gonna be like, I'm already on the edge of my seat. The mother's missing. The sister's investigating that. The brother has to help the other brother out. Meanwhile, the eldest brother has to pull up the whole family and, you know, be a mobster, you know, a gangster, if you will. And I'm excited. I
feel like these are all the elements that he's put in other books, kind of like combined into this one. So that's interesting.
A magnum opus.
The next book that I'm going to be talking about is Stag Dance by Tori Peters. It's a novel and 3 novellas, but in this particular story, it's about a lumberjack who apparently works in like this illegal logging company business. And one of their traditions is that, like, I think a night before the season or something, these men go and they dance around a fire. But there are a few that have to volunteer to be women. And so it's about our main character, the lumberjack, being a little bit jealous of some of the men who like look a little more feminine and get chosen to be these women that dance around the fire. So it's all about his story of perhaps transitioning and how people get labeled based off of how they look, and not necessarily of how they're feeling or, you know, what they're experiencing. And it's just kind of him having a moment of, oh wait, I might want to be that. So I think it's going to be a good time. There's also a couple of novellas in this book, like I said earlier, that seem interesting as well. But this one definitely stuck out to me the most.
Picasso. I think my only fantasy that I put on here is Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. It's the third,
shocker.
Yeah, it's the third book in the Legendborn cycle. It follows up the events that happened in the second book. I'm excited. I mean, we got Bree and Sel on the front covers, though. Am I not supposed to say that?
No, I just mean I love him.
Oh, okay, yeah. And so
him.
I don't know what's going on, but they look good together. Anyway, it's coming out March 4th.
You could read one book a month leading up if you're doing the reread, but
I should do that. You said I should do it. I said I wasn't going to, but I could.
If you read Bloodmarked in February, I'll read it with you.
Okay.
You know,
let's do it.
Maybe I should also read
Legendborn.
I feel like I remember Legendborn to an extent.
Legendborn,
the big ticket items I remember.
Legendborn will never ungag me. Like that that plot twist.
Yeah. All right. So the next one that I'm going to be talking about is a historical horror novel. Okay. It's called The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, which, as you all know, if you're following us on socials, that was like one of my favorite books last year. My Heart is a Chainsaw. I'm continuing on with that trilogy, but since it's completed, Stephen Graham is obviously coming out with some more books for us to engage in, to indulge in, to, you know, read. So this one is a historical horror, like I said, which means that it's set in the 1912s. It's the Wild Wild West. And essentially, these men find a diary, okay? And in the diary, it is talking about these horrible, like, massacres, okay? And kind of like the history leading up to it and like what happened. So I think this is going to be a great book because it is historical. It's like based off of these things that have happened in history, but it's like giving that like horror twist to it because obviously these things are horrible. Like what actually did lead up to them. You know what I mean? I think this is going to be great because it's essentially a Native American revenge plot. And what I found over the years of being here as a bookish creator, a revenge plot is one of my favorite plots, like ever.
Oh, yeah.
Like ever of all time. If there is a revenge plot, whoo boy, I am there seated with my popcorn. I mean, I loved My Heart is a Chainsaw so much, which you haven't read that book, have you? You should read it. It's really good. I think I'm gonna buy the trilogy, so you can just read my copies. But yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna be a 5 stars. I don't know though.
Okay, I have some debut novels that I wanted to bring up.
Oh snap! A debut,
if you will.
A debut.
A debut.
Yes, if you will. A debut.
Yes,
a debutante.
Oh my god.
The one, the only, Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein. It always goes back to Canterbury Tales.
It's funny because I thought you said Orlick, and I was like, oh my god, Nosferatu too. Next up, I want to talk about this debut novel, 3 Lives of Kate K by Kate Fagan. Follows an elusive author who's wrote a best-selling series, but nobody knows who this author is. Like they don't go to any like events, they don't go to any award ceremonies.
How do they start? Their book must be really good because how do you survive in this world as an author not doing any of those things? You know what I mean?
But they have a secret they've been hiding.
Oh my god, they are an AI computer.
And it's kind of like, I don't know if it's an AI computer. It's a person that something happened I think they were going to do like a Christina Lauren type thing. Like 2 people were going to do this. And then one of them died. Then an accident happened. I think. That's what I gathered. So, yeah. So it's a mystery. It's revealed, but I think like the person's like voice is so strong, like it's just very, I don't know if it's funny, but something crazy happened. So I'm excited. I am going to read it soon, actually. Speaking of not debut novels, we're going with the horror track again with a sci-fi horror from S.A. Barnes. This new book is called Cold Eternity, and this one follows kind of the same premise where you've got your main character going into a situation where crazy kind of like thrillery things start happening, and they have to figure out what it is, okay? Is it ghosts? Is it aliens? Is it a combination of the two? We won't know, but
I mean, until we read it. But S.A. Barnes, I really, really loved Dead Silence. And so I'm excited to get into this one because I feel like it's going to be a nice continuation.
I feel like a lot of people like that one.
I mean, Dead Silence, it was a shocker for me because I think I read it on NetGalley. And I was just like throwing stuff out. I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll like it. I don't know. I wasn't really reading horror at that time. So yeah, it's creepy. All of S.A. Barnes' books are creepy. You're just like, ugh.
I think Elizabeth read that and said they liked it.
Yeah, Elizabeth also does like S.A. Barnes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, it should be good. It's coming out on April 8th.
Exciting. Well, again, mine's not a horror. It's a debut novel. I think it's historical. I wouldn't say think. I know it's historical fiction. It's called Lilac People by Milo Todd, I believe. It comes out April 29th. And it's inspired by true event. It follows a character, Birdie. They're a trans man who is living in pre-war Berlin. They work in an institute that's studies like sexual science, and they're kind of, pushing for queer rights in Berlin at this time. And then boom, Hitler comes and ruins everything. So Birdie takes his girlfriend and they go and they kind of hide in isolation, and they're, surviving the war out on a farm somewhere. And then they have to go and protect a trans prisoner that comes upon their farm from the Allies. So it's a kind of a hidden history. It's not a history that's talked about a lot, and it will be interesting to read about this time period and what people had to do back then.
Good for you, man. Get a little historical in there.
Yeah, it sounded really interesting.
Yeah.
It's called Lilac People.
Love it. All right, well, we're going to pivot, guys. In April, on the 21st, there is a book that is a big, bad lesbian romance.
Perfect.
This wouldn't be a recommendation / books you should read video without a Kindle book, but it's also a Desi romance, which is so much fun. So the things that, piqued my interest with this book is that one, warlords of sorts. There's a criminal, it's a family-run business, but a criminal organization, okay, that kind of runs things in this world.
A mafia?
A mafia, yeah.
Crime syndicate.
Yeah, just like all those.
Okay.
Synonymous. Madhuri, she has been just lackluster. She had a love and she lost that love. She thinks she's never gonna get it again. I don't know how she lost it because I'm almost thinking that her father may have killed the love of her life. Sad, sad, sad. But she ends up meeting another woman and she's like, oh my God, I'm blessed to have found somebody else that I can love again. But then that woman starts causing chaos for the crime syndicate, and she may also be murdered by her father. So she has to figure out, am I going to stay under my father's thumb, or am I going to break away, be the best version of myself, have this everlasting love with this person, and, ultimately, like I said, be a big bad lesbian.
Break away.
Yeah, break away. Breaking free. It's gonna be great. I'm excited. If we don't have a pick for Classic Clit in May. All right.
Trying to figure out.
It also always comes back to Avril.
You know what, this whole time I thought I was singing the Kelly Clarkson song.
Because you started off with Kelly Clarkson and then you pivoted to Avril.
We're in my final stretch now. There is a book called The Memory Collectors by Deet Meserve. It's kind of like, if you've read Before the Coffee Gets Cold, that's the kind of vibe that I think this book is giving. About four strangers who all travel back to a day where all their lives change. There's technology in where they live now where they can travel back an hour into the past, but you can only be there for an hour. If you stay past those 60 minutes, you get stranded. I believe these four strangers all get stranded and they start to uncover secrets about the past and things that kind of connect their lives. And they realize one of the strangers they're with has some deadly intention. So it's a mystery, time travel, lit fic, it's all the things I like. It's The Memory Collectors. It comes out in May 26th. So if you're looking forward to that, add it to your list.
Nice. This next one that I'm going to talk about is one that I think you'll also like. It's called Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. It's coming out April 22nd.
Oh, yeah.
This one is about two writers who are competing to write a biography about this scandalized heiress who, is one of the most popular tabloid pieces of the 20th century, okay? And she hasn't been seen in years, type of recluse, and she gives this main character and, the love interest a trial period of 1 month to come to her house, get pieces of her life to like write together in a story. And then, you know, whoever she likes the most will end up getting the job. I think Emily Henry likes to write about writers. It's a fun time because this is like the 3rd book, I think, or something about writers or a librarian or, you know, something in the sphere of this.
Publisher agent.
Yeah, publisher agent. Yeah, world. So I think it'll be fun. It's also giving like a little bit of a mystery. It reminds me of the, you know, Taylor Jenkins Reid, like Evelyn Hugo type situation, you know.
It kind of reminds me of The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. Maybe not as cozy and, you know, festive.
Right. Definitely like a different vibe.
Yeah.
Or like the Book of Cold Cases was one that I was thinking of. It's like this heiress is, you know, a little bit older and she's kind of like a recluse in her house. Has a lot of story to tell, but you're not really sure like what that story is until the end of the book. So it sounds like it's going to be a little bit different than what Emily Henry usually writes. And that's exciting. So I can't wait to get into that one.
Yeah, she's an auto buy for me, so I didn't even really put her on the list because I was like, yeah, you know.
I'm going to be reading it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then finally, I feel like this book has been everyone's must want to read. Maybe not. I don't know about you. You haven't been talking about it. But like, I have wanted, like, this book has been on hush, hush, hush. Like, nobody knows what's going on in this book. It's called Catabasis. That's how I'm going to say it. I don't know what the Greek actual phonetic pronunciation is, but it is by R.F. Kuang. It's R.F. Kuang's new book. It's coming out in August, I believe. Let me make sure. Yeah, August 28th. It is called Catabasis, which is an ancient Greek word for the term hero's descent into the underworld.
Yeah.
This book is a rivals. It's not a romance book, y'all. But you know I have to start with the romance. It's rivals. Rivals, okay? Rivals are going into hell to get an A, okay? They're grad students. Their professor's soul has somehow been transported to hell, and they're going after it to get that passing mark. They're rivals, maybe lovers, you know? Probably not. Who has
Probably
time
not.
for that?
Yeah,
And
someone's definitely going to die. What I've found in all of R.F. Kuang's books that I've read is that the couple that you want to happen are going to dance around each other, but it's going to be a Greek tragedy every single time.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So,
like,
I'm assuming there's going to be a sacrifice of sorts.
R.F. Kuang, like, is living the author's dream. I don't know how to explain it, but like to go and write this, and wherever you're writing this book, R.F. Kuang, I just am excited.
I wonder if it's a retelling at all.
I mean, it did say Dante's Inferno meets Piranesi as the blurb.
Oh, Piranesi.
Dante's Inferno, it really does give me
flashbacks
to
a classic you could read that you read in.
If I have to read about Dante's, I had a high school teacher who loved Dante's Inferno. Everything in our class was 3. 3's everywhere. 3's the key. 3's the
angel
key.
number.
If I have to read about, I mean, it'll be fun. I mean, I know a lot about Dante's Inferno.
Maybe perhaps through the lens of R.F. Kuang, you can see a new
allegory, you know, on the descent,
a new
into madness
plot.
or hell, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't really want to pick up. I think. Yeah, I don't know what I would reread if it's a classic, but go ahead.
Okay, last one for me officially for this list is going to be Overruled by Lana Ferguson. This is about 2 divorce lawyers who get onto the same case. Of course, our main character, I think her name's Diana or Danica. Danica, there we go. Danica she is just out here trying to work and be a workaholic, but she somehow gets into bed with this other divorce lawyer, and so
like
chaos
literally?
ensues. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. She is determined to share only beds and not hearts. And that is a tagline enough for me. I love Lana Ferguson. Love her books.
That's the one who wrote about the...
I think it's the wolf one that you don't like, but also...
liked it. I just stopped reading
The Nanny that I loved about the cam girl. Oh.
The Fake Mate.
Yeah, you hated that one, but I love a good Lana Ferguson.
I didn't hate The Fake Mate. I just never picked it back up.
All right, guys. So that is it. That is going to be our 25 books, our most anticipated books of 2025. Yeah. Of course, there are going to be other options and other things that we would love, love, love to read, but that'll have to come later on as those books are revealed throughout the year.
You guys know where to find us. Our links are down below.
Yeah, join us on Discord, Patreon, any of our other book clubs, socials. We've got it all on the internet. So if you're interested, feel free to check us out. And if you don't have anything to say at the end of this video, go ahead and leave this emoji comment and we'll know that you at least were here.
And until then, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye. Bum, bum, da 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 da, bum, bum, da.